Good morning, how are we doing? So a simple way to ditch the all or nothing mindset whether it comes to food and or exercise with this. And this is about setting your nutrition baseline. Like too often we see people do so well in the week and then on the weekends that just kind of all goes down. And then this offsets this cycle that we get into every week of doing really well, falling off the bandwagon, doing really well, falling off the bandwagon. And it gets longer and longer before we're back on the bandwagon. That's partly sometimes because we haven't set our expectations. Perhaps we're expecting what we did during a week to be done at a weekend, which might not always play out depending on social events, especially in the next week or so with the Jubilee and everything coming up as well. So what I wanted to talk about is a nutrition baseline. So I'm just going to grab my pen as well and show you with this. And I recommend you doing this. And this is about setting your nutrition baseline. And what we mean by that is, say you've got a line here from 0 to 100. This is like a scale here, okay? So you've got a scale here between being 0%, like sod it, I'm not doing well, as we often say, and here, I'm doing great. So 100% on it. This is what we often believe. But actually, the reality is, if we're 100% on it, we're actually not that happy. And that's because we're often actually going, I'm missing out on this, I don't have no social events, I can't do... I can't eat this, this is no way to live. Like we start to say things like that. And whether that's true or not is actually a different conversation, because quite often we put our focus on things that we're missing out on, but not the things that we're actually gaining from doing stuff. However, is this sustainable? But then what happens is we get so annoyed and we often spend our life going from 100 to 0. We're on, we're off. We're on, we're off. So one way around this is to think about the 80-20 rule. So what if we had a bit more of an 80-20 rule? And what I mean by that is I don't mean going down to 20. I just mean that 80% of the time we're eating whole, nutritious foods. 80% of the time we kind of know that we're on track with our portion sizes. And 20% of the time, this here gives us a bit of leeway there. This 20% here gives us some leeway to be more flexible, perhaps for weekends, perhaps for meals out, social events. And what can happen now is we have a bit more flexibility. So we have more flexibility that we're not just jumping from like here to here. We're now staying more around this space. And it might be about 70, who knows? But actually by setting this expectation, we beat ourselves up less from going to here, from 100 to 70. And I'll show you this in more of if you're a numbers person, in how you can do this. So I'm going to give you, say, 1,000 calories, just for argument's sake, and my quick maths. So say we had 1,000 calories. If we're doing the 80-20 rule, 800 calories would be from whole, nutritious foods, like really making sure we're getting that nutrition in, and then 200 from what you want. And then we've got that bit more flexibility with that. So we've got that flexibility, so we can go, you know what, that's my latte, my wine, my chocolate, whatever it is. And I know I'm just giving an example on 1,000 calories of that. But then what we're doing is we're giving ourselves permission, and we're making our life a part of the plan rather than going on it and off it. Because if every time you go off plan, you spend 1-2 days beating yourself up and off of it, well, that's like 48 hours of every week that we're spent perhaps moving away from our goal. And what we're kind of saying here is if we're not on it, we might as well be off it. Whereas I'm trying to get you to look at that middle ground, because that consistency, that what would you normally do? And I always say, people often ask me, like, is this a good thing to do? I'm doing this, is that, what would you normally have done? Well, I've normally had a pack of biscuits and done this and this and this and this, or normally have not bothered exercising today and not done anything. There's your answer. It's about that 1% better. And actually, if we can start building that momentum, that's what's going to get you the results long term. That's what's going to get you still building these habits in when you're struggling for childcare and things have gone crazy busy. Still getting results when you're having these holidays that have come around due to lockdowns and everything that have been cancelled over the time. Still getting those results when you can't fit in the exercise that you did over lockdown. Still getting those results when you don't really feel like it. And that's the difference. So I hope that helps. Any questions, as always, let me know, and I'll see you soon. Take care.